Wow, you got to hear what he's saying. It's on the Twitch, twitch.tv/beefriends. He's on Zoom. You have to find the Zoom link. So Gary is in a Zoom meeting right now with 500 people from the Discord. So you can get in the Zoom, unless it's maxed out. You can get in the Zoom from general, or you can go to Twitch and I'm watching. Oh, I guess the Zoom's full, but you can see it on Twitch.
There's no judgment when somebody sells one. In the same token, I'm allowed to feel my feelings when somebody, when people are selling BeFriends to buy like the flavor of the month PLP profile, project, because they want to buy 4, like, I'm gonna always have that chip on my shoulder because that's how I roll, and that's good, So
no, I agree.
That's where I'm at.
I told my sister.
I'm sorry, please.
Oh no, I told my sister. Actually, it's funny you said that because my sister put it up. She's like, she has a core as well. So then she put it up, and I told her today when I left, we're taking finals.
So
I told her, I was like, Brooklyn, she's like, you're gonna have to take that down. I was like, Gary hasn't even started yet. She's like, well, I can pay off the student loans and this and that. And you're right. You're like, a lot of people come into money and they're able to do. It's life-changing money.
And by the way, so for Brooklyn to buy something 60 days ago, to then sell it and pay off all her student loans is fucking insane.
It's fucking wild. And that's what, that's this whole deal.
It's crazy. I live this almost like Jekyll and Hyde world. I'm seeing these stories and getting DM'd these stories where people like paid off all their debt in 60 days. Right. Because they believed in me. And because of them. But they believed in me, right? They made a call. They believed in me. It feels better than anything. It's like a Jets Super Bowl. But at the same token, I'd be lying if I didn't sit here. This is what I'm going to I would literally stop making content as GaryVee and shut down VaynerMedia and VaynerX before I let BeFriends fail. My whole reputation is tied into this.
Exactly. No, that's what that's why I keep telling them, like, you look at that gain right now, but this is 60 days in. We're talking the long marathon game. It's not just right now, I'm also can't fault it for anything.
I'm also completely convinced that I'm going to build Disney.
That's no, I'm ready. We're all ready, and everyone's just excited, and we appreciate it. And
thank you, brother.
I'm ready to hop in.
Moving.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Blake.
Yep.
Sorry about the sunflower seeds, everyone.
Seriously.
I don't know if you know this, but they're fucking addicting. It's like impossible to stop eating these fucking things once you start eating them. Yes, Blake?
I was going to ask you what you're eating, but sunflower seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Gary, I'm taking that blockchain class, so I'm going to shoot you.
We're hiring all sorts of shit's going on in VaynerLand.
Yeah, Gary, I'm in. I want to come work. We're all the same.
I love it, Blake. Send me the email. I don't want to take up too much time because I don't have that much time. I want to get this to more people. And also, May, make sure you get to Daniel Got This because I definitely want to talk crypto strikers. A lot of you, the majority of this room, because I shared it there first, is probably in the VeeFriends Discord. You know, as we saw with World of Women, and now with this, one of the things I'm spending a lot of time on is like really doing homework and trying to find other things I like, because while we wait for Series 2 VeeFriends, you know, VeeFriends is now completely out of price range for the majority of people. And so I want to make sure if I see something, I overshare it. So anyway, let's keep it going, mate.
Rob's next, and then we'll get Daniel up here.
Okay.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
I'm well, Rob. How are you?
Man, I am so excited to actually chat with you. And one, thank you for the text messages all those months ago. I was driving to go visit my wife at work for lunch, and your message came across and you just kind of whispered, go get a MetaMask, buy some ETH. And from that point forward, I have this whole new education, this whole new, I guess, outlook on this space. I'm the guy that spent 2 Bitcoin on a pair of cowboy boots back in 2015.
And you were thrilled.
$600, dude. And I was so excited. I still own those boots today, and I've had them resold once because my wife wants me to always remember never to sell stuff. So, but Gary, thank you. Know that I went to work for one of your competitors, not really a competitor, but an influencer, who asked me to take my V off my LinkedIn account. And, and so I did. And then a week later, I quit that job because I could not really fathom how an organization who wasn't really in competition with you saw you as competition.
I don't think anybody is my competition. And that's not an audacious statement. It's a kind statement. I actually genuinely cheer for anybody who's doing an honest day's living. And like when I see other people who get more podcast listeners or more followers or have a better NFT project or build a better agency or a better wine store, it makes me happy for them. Their winning doesn't come out of me. That's the most insecure scarcity mindset. It's a devastating blow.
Check it out.
It leads to it's a good for you because and let's not I don't know who it is and let's not share it, but like it's insane to like that's such a losing DNA. It just leads to insecurity.
It is. So I gave notice. I got a call Friday night from a friend of a friend. They interviewed me Saturday. On Sunday, I had a job offer. I took Monday to get everything settled, and I started a new job on Tuesday.
Good for you.
And that just the courage to be able to jump like that. And thank you. You're going to see that I have some of my VeeFriends up for sale on this because I want to keep stacking up and getting to the next spectacular. So, but I'm 100% believer. Thank you for the last 10 years and all your content. And I'll let this go to somebody else, dude. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for saying that, brother. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Oops. Daniel, go ahead.
Yo, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yep. Hey, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Gary?
I'm well, brother. Good to see you.
You too, man. You too. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I know you mentioned in the Crypto Strikers Discord, maybe you wanted to talk a little bit about strikers. So I'm sure there's a lot of people from the community here, but I'm super down to just chat about it real quick. And yeah, I love soccer. So, you know me, it's like the perfect project. When I found it, I was like so psyched.
I love that. Yeah, I'm just doing Q&A, brother. I don't necessarily have any questions. I've spent fucking 150 hours studying striker.
Cool.
So
no. And then in that case, I got a question for you. So,
please.
Like with Crypto Strikers, like obviously there's not that much supply of it right now. People are still, you know, wrapping and having more supply. Like, do you think that, like for you, it's obviously a long-term play and everything, but is there any type of Crypto Strikers? How do you decide what you're buying over there? Because like, I know that you know a lot about sports, but do you have any little thesis that maybe up your sleeve that you think people are overlooking on Crypto Strikers, or in general when you look at a project?
In general, I always look at math and I always make subjective calls on art, right? Or culture. And so it's always a mix. I think some people go too far in one direction or the other, right? Like, oh, this has bubble gum, but 80% have bubble gum, and that's maybe not as good in this situation. So I do a lot of math and art analyzation. I think with things like sports, you can't really play the same way you play CryptoPunks or things where there's subjectivity. Like Mbappe is going to be better than Ericsson, and Messi's going to be better than, you know, Chico Hernandez. But there's still going to be people that are going to be interested in it. I think a lot of people are making big to do that a lot of the tokens haven't hit the OpenSea yet. My favorite thing about the blockchain is I know there's slightly over 10,000 tokens. I know that there's, 13 Messi iconics or whatever the number is. Like the math is there. And so I think I do think people FOMO into products too much and projects. I think people have to be thoughtful about that, but I'm incredibly interested. And I've been saying this over and over, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, and feel free to say I've seen it or head nod here on the screen. Like, I believe that we're now in the summer of projects. Like, there are way too many projects coming out every day. And so while this is happening, while I still want to get my fix as a collector and as a learner, I'm spending more time looking back at 2017, 18, and 19 and finding OG projects. A, because I like learning and I like history. B, as somebody who'd prefer not to lose money. I've worked fucking 30 years super hard for the money I have, no matter how much of it I have. I'm not in the business of losing it. And I think it's much more interesting to, bet on some OG shit than it is on the stuff that's coming out every day right now. I'm incredibly concerned about the projects that are coming out every day right now. Even the ones that are
so trash.
Yeah, it's less about trash. It's just human behavior, right? It's supply and demand. The community is going to keep growing, but everybody here, if this is the first time you've been at the forefront of one of these big moments, this is going to take a long time. This is not like September 19th, everybody is going to be buying NFTs. This is this phase is going to take 2-3 years. And so if there's 50 fucking projects coming out every day, and we're 3 years away from the scale that everybody feels will be here tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen? These same 50,000 people are only going to have so much time. And a lot of the money that's running around is because people made a lot of money in the short term on CryptoPunks or Bitcoin or Ethereum. That's going to dry up. So, I'm incredibly concerned about the projects. I think that, I do think there'll be 5 projects from the VeeFriends, Bored Ape, Cool Cats, that crew. I do believe there'll be 3 to 5 projects that do really well from an investment standpoint. I do think that most people are in it right now financially and looking at these as investments. And as that goes, I think 98% of things are concerning. And I think, I see somebody mention, Jason, buy projects with a narrative. I, for one, don't give a shit about the white papers or the roadmaps. They mean nothing to me. I've been investing my whole life. People show me their roadmaps and their investments all the time. I don't care what your fucking plan is. Can you fucking execute it? It's very nice that you tell me what you're gonna do. Every company I've ever invested in told me they were gonna make me rich and it was gonna crush and be the biggest company in the world. And oh, by the way, 98% of them have gone out of business. There's gonna be an enormous amount of carnage with investing in the projects that are out. Just because the project's old doesn't mean it's good either. Just because I'm looking at 17, 18, 19, that doesn't mean it's good either. But Daniel, what got me to the excitement level I did of the 2 projects I've been most excited about, there's 3 projects I've been excited about over the last 6 to 8 weeks for real, outside of dabbling. World of Women on a pure, I like the team, that's my intuition. I like the art, that's my intuition. I like the community, that's my intuition. And I like the way it looks, and I feel people can associate with it. That's my intuition, that's 4 guesses. Number 2, Tom Sachs Rocket Factory. Tom Sachs is one of the most successful contemporary artists in the world. He also put together maybe the best project, in my subjective opinion, besides VeeFriends, with doing real life stuff. Put 3 pieces together and make a rocket. We're gonna film the shooting of the rocket. The rocket's gonna come down. I'm gonna put it in a glass case and send it to you. Oh, by the way, Tom Sachs's art in the physical form normally is valued at like $30,000 to $60,000 on the low end. And I get a token and that, wild. So to me, that was brilliant. And I know he's running it and in it for life. And then number 3 was this crypto striker. Why? It's very personal. You know, one of my favorite sets of all time is something called Burke Ross, a sports card from the 50s, an entrepreneur in a wild, wild west, East Coast, Brooklyn style, just made baseball cards without the rights from the league and the players. And he just put them out in his cookies. It's a crazy story. Let me see if I can put this in for you guys. It's a wild story. It's super rare. Found it. It's super like, you know, kind of like pirate, you know, like, and Crypto Strikers, you know, kind of represents to me the earliest sense of, you know, Ethereum projects. It was early 2018, made for an iconic moment of the World Cup. To your point and mine, like it's got some of the greatest footballers of all time in the modern era in the set. You know, Kevin De Bruyne and and
yeah, De Bruyne, I think is still underrated in there.
I agree.
Yeah,
and Suarez, and so I know enough about proper football to be dangerous. And so the other thing I'm looking for is I'm enjoying this era. I'm trying to figure out what's going to be everyone's rookie NFT. So I come from sports card world. I believe from 2017 to 2022, there will be the establishment in a 5-year window that will be trading in 90 years from now on everyone's rookie NFT. And I believe Crypto Strikers could be Messi's and Ronaldo's and Mbappe, rookie NFT. And if that's right, brother. And by the way, the other thing I like about it is it looks like Kabooms, which is my favorite subset in sports cards from the art standpoint. So there's just a lot about it I like, and it's also the most popular global sport in the world, and blockchain is global. You know, so there's a lot that I like about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary. No, appreciate you bringing me on the call. I'll let someone else get a question. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Next up is Board Becky.
Board Becky.
I'm going to call it Mbappe, not Mbappe, if you guys don't mind. Becky.
Hi. Can you see me? This is crazy.
I don't know if I can see yet. Hold on. Usually populates to the front screen. So keep talking.
Hi, Gary. This is really exciting. I'm definitely not prepared for video here.
No worries.
Yeah, my boyfriend in the background is like, is that Gary Vaynerchuk? Yes, it is. So anyways, yeah, I'm Board Becky. I'm involved with the Fame Lady Squad takeover. We're really focused on sort of fostering the community that we have right now. And I don't want to plug that by any means, but I suppose...
But it's Becky, it's one of the most important things going on, right? We have this, you know, we have this project that I incredibly, you know, jumped on immediately because it's very important and continues to be very important for me to see all kinds of representation in NFT land. It's only good for the space. It's only good for society. I like the art. It came out. I got excited, right? I didn't do as much homework, you know, which is why I did so much homework on this Crypto Strikers and like found the founder and like, you know, you go through it. Ends up that it's misrepresentation. Everyone, you know, obviously collapses. You and many others in the community come in to save it, fix it, make it better. Luckily, there was some humanity on the founder side and the other side. They hand over the project, right? To, in essence, it eventually ends up in your hand. And it's kind of cool. It's like a real fun thing to watch to see if something can be resurrected. You know, I always believe turning something bad into something good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's our focus right now. I mean, I have some logistical questions that might not be appropriate for this format, but maybe from more of a macro level, what do you think would be the most important thing for a group like us to be thinking about as we look to rebuild this and really look to focus on something that could be sustainable?
I think that second part was the best part. You need to do two things. It's like nonprofits. I'm on a lot of boards. I'm involved with a lot of stuff. And I always tell them, just because you're a nonprofit doesn't mean people should give you money. right? Like there's audacity and expectation. There's a lot of things people can do. And just because this is being resurrected from a bad situation doesn't mean everyone should care or anything like that, right? The reality is this project has a great springboard now with your energy and the rest of the community, but it's going to come down to what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, it's got this kind of moment in time, you know, and you're going to have people on both sides of the aisle like, fuck, and you might be rebranding it. I've seen some of your DMs, right? Fuck that project, or let's all support this project. But in 12 months, in 24 months, it's going to come down to how good you are.
So when you're thinking about that, I mean, I've been really lucky because I sort of stumbled upon a couple of really great partners with skill sets that are way beyond my skill sets in this space anyhow. How would you, if you were me, be thinking about finding the right people to bring in or turn this over to, or whatever that might mean, especially in a space where we don't really all know one another and we're all entering it with kind of, it's all exploratory, even for people that are much more on the tech side than I am. Like, how do we find the right people and figure out who we can trust? And by that, I mean more like trust their capacity and their skills.
Well, you don't. When you're guessing, when you're hiring, you're guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're now asking how to run a business.
Good point. Well, I mean, this has been a crazy week. I'll just put that out there.
and it's amazing. I think, look, I'll try to help as much as I can, but you can tell I'm a little bit underwater and I'll poke in and out, but rely on people you trust. People want, you know, it's imperative that you find people that have done it before. Yeah. Right. And then you got to ask yourself what you're trying to do. Like, for example, people like the biggest confusion with VeeFriends is people think it's about VCon.
Yeah.
Right. Like VCon is like an added value little cherry on top. People ask me, what am I doing with VeeFriends? I say, I'm doing what Noah Maxwell has on his backdrop right now. I'm building intellectual property that people are going to give a shit about. Pokemon came out as a fucking, you know, card game and a Game Boy video game. And, you know, 25, 30 years later, people want to do a million different things with it, whether it's buy toys, play the app, find virtual Pokechus in the AR world, like, you know, buy video games, watch movies. I'm going to develop the characters.
Yeah.
You know, what are people going to do? I think that almost every project that has come out this summer is in the intellectual property game.
Yeah.
That's why I know 99% are going to fail.
Yeah. That's one of our big question marks on the logistics sides about IP and what IP we own and how we can use it moving forward. And that's why we've been having a conversation.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have to definitely get, like, if you don't own that, you're not building a business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, Gary, I really appreciate the time. I know there's other people here. I just want to say the only reason I'm here at all is because I listened to you and bought my first NFT and I have 4 VeeFriends. So I'm rooting for you. You guys your Discord is my home. So I really appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. All right.
Let's keep it going, man.
Aiden.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Aiden.
So I was involved in Top Shot a little while ago, and I was in the sneaker reselling. So NFTs, I guess, kind of came natural with all this. So my thing is, I'm fairly new, and I'm just looking to see where I can find the best projects, like where to look to find, like, you know, good projects.
Of course. I think Twitter and Discord, like, live in it. And think back to when you started the sneaker flipping game. There was a day one where you went somewhere to, like, read top 10 list of the hottest sneakers coming out, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is different because it's so wild west and it's new and nobody really knows. I didn't think those little fucking penguins were going to explode this week. You know, like you don't know. And so what you need to do is and this will make sense to you, play with a bag that you can afford to lose. You got to start there. Is it $1? Is it $1 million? Play with a bag that you can afford to go to zero, because when you can afford to go to zero, you're in it for the education, not stressing that you have to make a flip, because that fucks everyone up. My friends, everybody's in here. You can't play in NFTs with money that you can't afford to lose. If you're even if you're fucking sitting with a VeeFriends bag that's monstrous and, like, I could die tomorrow. Now that might make them go up. I don't know how shit works, but I could. So then what? Right? Like you can't play with a bag that in NFT that you can afford to lose. So first rule number one, you have to play with money you can afford to lose. And if this hit for you and you've got 4 VeeFriends, and sell one, make all your profits back, and then play. Like, even though I believe in it the most on anything on earth, so there's that.
Yeah.
But Aiden, I think it's learning. Like, I spent fucking hundreds of hours in Discords, watching YouTube videos, reading Twitter before I said a word. I spent 50 hours on CryptoPunks before I moved back in January. 50, and I don't have time.
For me, it's tough because there's so many projects coming out, and it's hard to really vet what.
You saw what happened, Aiden. I didn't buy any Top Shot. I think it's one of the most important things that have happened. But I understand sports cards too much, and once I saw how the prices were going, I'm like, this is not sustainable. You can't make 1,300 Terry Rozier cards highlights and think it's going to work out. And that's what's happening overall with NFTs right now.
It's the same type of thing. Like when Top Shot was exploding in like February, and there's getting all the media attention and stuff like that. I was part of that, and that's when I started making my money. But on the NFT side, like away from Top.
Aiden, let's talk about Top Shot. Did you get left with the bag, or did you move enough, or something in between?
I made a couple $1,000s, so it's
huge.
But I have about like 25 moments left, and took them all off the marketplace, and I'm just comfortable with holding those.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. Listen, I think my recommendation when people have a softer bag is to not guess on minting and wait for something to get a little traction, and then pay a little vig, and then really ride that out.
Yeah,
you're gonna pay more, but right now people are just guessing.
Yeah.
When I mint, I'm watching how they're minting because I have Series 2 come out. Yeah. This is why I keep making this video. Do not buy what I'm buying. I'm gonna talk about the things I believe in. I don't talk about a lot of things I don't believe in because I'm stuck. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. People are like, this is absurd how people fucking talk to me. They're like, Gary, you can't promote projects. I'm like, fuck you. I spent my whole life putting out good content so that you didn't earn my audience. I earned my audience. And if you think I'm gonna go buy 100 fucking funny frogs or penguins or whatever the fuck, and then so that I can tell all of you that it's awesome, so that I can then sell it. First of all, I keep a public fucking wallet for this reason. My wallet's not hard to find. It's the blockchain. All this shit I got for sports cards when I didn't fucking sell anything, I'm like, oh, I like NFTs better. Here it is. Here's my fucking wallet. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. So, but you can't follow what I'm buying. I'm buying for different reasons. I'm looking at how they mint. I'm looking at scarcity levels, and I can afford to spend $3,000 on a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
All right, Gary, I appreciate it. I love all your videos.
Thank you, brother.
I really appreciate this. This is going to be recorded.
Yeah, we got this. Aiden, where do you live?
I'm in Toronto. I'm just outside of Toronto.
And are you in high school? 15, right?
High school. I took a year off. I worked. I'm a barber. I cut hair. I sell shit.
You want to move to New York and do an internship with us?
I'd love to do something like that. I definitely
email me.
For sure. Where can I find your email?
It's Gary@VaynerMedia.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Wow.
Let's get one more in.
That's what happens when you just come with humility.
Right.
Good shit happens to good people.
You gotta be kidding me. I'm just sitting here next to Aiden on my screen here, and Aiden says he's outside of Toronto, and I'm outside of Toronto, right? You know?
Yeah, Craig. I mean, and by the way, this is the number one thing I want with VeeFriends. I wanted to build a community, right? I look at the Star Trek conventions. I look at the Disney stuff. I look at Wrestling Con. I look at Comic Con. Craig, you and Aiden have to be friends. Like, if you're that close.
Oh, for sure. Like,
message each other in the chat.
I mean, I see Tim over there in the top of my screen too, and Alyssa was on here before, and we're all part of the VeeFriends Discord and whatnot. Like, I was and of course in the VeeFriends, but also on Clubhouse and Let's VeeFriends, and I was there on day one when you jumped in there with Sal and Nicole, and you just given Corso the gift code. Adam there got his rabbit. Yep. He's getting his tattoo with his rabbit. You said the 47 seconds. Like, it was insane, right? Like, a lot of people in there know my story. I'm like 53. I did a bit of a reset. Used to do outside sales, not really what I wanted. I'm taking a 6-month boot camp course. I apologize.
Yeah. JerseyBorn.e said, who knew Gary was huge in Canada? JerseyBorn.e, we're huge in the fucking world, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right, keep it going.
Exactly. No, I was just saying, like I'm taking a 6-month boot camp course on full stack, whatever, just trying to, do a reset and a pivot into that area. It's related to stuff I've done in the past and whatever. And, so my question, I guess, what I sort of wrote down here was, if, how like right now it's like you said, it's 47 seconds in. I just been holding on. It's 47 seconds in. I'm doing this course. It's over in November. Like I can't be on here every minute, whatever, if I'm focusing on that. It is a boot camp, right? And so I'm not watching every day, everything, looking at all the project stuff or whatever. Like I had to pick my thing. I'm doing this other thing, right? And take care of the family first is the idea. Let me get a job that will pay and there's a potential. And when I get some money that I can play a bit more with, and then there we go, right? But like, do you think that like right now, obviously there's been some crazy opportunities and, but we are saying it's 47 seconds in.
Couldn't help myself.
But do you think that there's opportunities that are happening right now that like just will not happen again? Or like in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 3 years, there's still going to be opportunities. Not opportunities, but opportunities right now.
I know exactly what you're answering.
You can pay low money now and make a lot of money, whereas there maybe it was
I got you. Of course. The answer is in 6 or 12 months, there will not be the same opportunity of ridiculousness, which is why this is a moment. Here's the problem. 98% won't be that.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a big bet. It's a lottery.
It's both. Yeah. This is why I like it. I don't think it's lottery. I think it's homework.
Yes.
And intuition and pattern recognition and a few other things. But it's not lottery. I'm not going to get lucky. I haven't gotten lucky with CryptoPunks. I didn't get lucky with CryptoPunks. I didn't. I put in the work. I looked at pattern recognition. Like VFriends didn't launch successfully by accident. That was 20 years of work of knowing how to do shit. I don't think I'm wrong about Tom Sachs' rockets. And I think Crypto Strikers is an interesting one. Like, I don't think I'll be wrong if it hits. If it fails, I understand. And I take those L's all the time. Whereas with Chubby's and Fame Lady Squad, I just like the art and I got excited and I was being like a consumer. But the things that I bought like 10 or 12, but I got excited. Now I'm trying to be a little bit less excited because I didn't realize how everybody would just follow anything. If we talk, even though I say don't buy what, everyone's like buying and I don't want that for you. But for me, I don't think it's a lottery ticket. I think it's work. Yeah.
I know the terrible thing for you is when you tend to say something, it often is right. So it's not a bad thing, but you know what I mean? It is risky when, a lot of people are listening and they can do stuff with money, like you said, that they can't, so it's tricky, whatever. But I got to say that like the whole concept, aside from, all this stuff and whatever else, but your whole concept around the VFriends characteristics and traits and whatnot is gold. Like I believe that like wholeheartedly, like I align with that and relate to that like so much. And the community that's been built, from that is gold, not just for me, but for almost everybody that's in here. I hear it all the time in the different clubs and places that I'm in. And, we just really, really appreciate what you're doing. And the fact that like, it's not lost on me that like, even here, I jump in a Zoom call, I'm 500 people away from GaryVee. I've watched, Tea with GaryVee a few times, people saying like, I've been following you for 10 years and it took me that long to get with you. You know what I mean? And the closeness and the amount of caring that you can see that you give us in the Discord and in forums like this is insane and unheard of in the world that you travel. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen on a regular basis.
Of course, it's why we're not going to be, it's why we're going to be a different community.
Yes.
I always laugh. I know I'm underrated. We haven't even started. We're doing different things because we're different.
Exactly.
I made enough money for my life to be happy when I made $100,000 a year. That happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
On a completely different course with completely different ambitions. And when people look at what happens with VFriends, like, do you know how much joy I get that people sitting here that do have 10 ETH and they're buying 4 stupid projects and VFriends are sitting there at 7 ETH? It makes me happy. I like it. I like being underestimated, even by my biggest fans.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I appreciate it. Like there's been a number of times in the Discord and different things where, there could have been an opportunity to have a chat with you and the chance to
I'm glad.
The fact that out of 500, I got this chance, that's just gold.
Makes me happy.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love you every day.
Team, I'm going to jump back into Discord. I got to go do some family stuff. I have this window. I wanted to give back some love. Couple things. Don't be scared to take some profits off the board with your second, third, fourth, and fifth favorite projects you're in. Whether it's VFriends or something else, you don't have to do that with your first one. But don't be scared to with your second, third, fourth, and fifth. I am incredibly concerned by how many projects are coming out every day. I think this is going to be very hard to sustain what we're seeing right now. So if you're day trading NFTs, be thoughtful what you're playing with. Be very thoughtful, because when it turns and it's done. People always think they can catch the market. You cannot catch the market. Far smarter people than you and I did not catch the market every time the market collapsed. In real estate, the stock market, Beanie Babies, sports cards, sneakers. Like, be thoughtful, be fucking smart, and put in real homework. Don't buy shit just because I bought it or somebody else that you think is doing well bought it. Like, do your homework, spend time in the Discords, make relationships, and never give out your secret seed phrase. Nobody will ever ask for it. It will never happen. Nobody, not MetaMask, not Coinbase, not OpenSea, not me. We're still in the early Wild Wild West stage, and people are getting their stuff stolen, which is unfortunate. I want to use this moment again to remind you, this is what comes, the beautiful thing about the blockchain is nobody's in charge. The bad thing is nobody's in charge. When people get their VFriend stolen and they hit me up and they're like, I can't do shit about it. I can put public pressure, but these are hidden so be thoughtful. This is a special time. That's why it's amazing and scary. It's special. It's different. That's what it's supposed to be. So do your homework, and I'll see you in the VFriends Discord in a few minutes. We can chat a little bit. Love you. Have a great weekend. Great rest of the weekend. Bye, everyone.
Yo, thank you,
Gary.
Thanks so much, Gary. Thank you.
Wow. Whoo. Oh my gosh. That was cool. How many folks are here? I almost forgot we were on Twitch. 44 viewers. Holy shit. That's like the biggest stream we've ever had. Let's go. I should turn my light on. Well, I took a bunch of notes. I mean, I feel like this is the podcast now. Like, what else is there to talk about? Everything else. It's awesome that he did this, because I had like 4 ideas of like, I thought we would go back to Gary's CryptoPunk 8 buy. I thought that we would talk about Hangout Hawks, but this is a whole thing. This is amazing. I mean, it just puts in perspective a lot of stuff I already knew I was on the pulse of, which is Gary's not going to be able to time the market any better than any of us, just because he has more resources perhaps, or is just who he is. It will still catch him by surprise, and he's seeing concerning signs. Like, he just said he's incredibly concerned about, I mean, I took a bunch of notes, but like, think about his last few takeaways. When he was done, he's like, okay, a couple things. Don't be scared to take profits off the table. And I also noticed that he said, you don't necessarily have to sell your first. Somebody early on was like, can't you just imagine Gary in like 25 years saying, who still has their original first VFriend, and doing some like stupid surprise and delight for them? Regardless, his message was his message wasn't take profits. His message was don't be afraid to take profits. And then telling us he's incredibly concerned with the amount of projects, the lack of demand growth, the sustainability of the space, of this excitement, this like special time where it's really exciting and you can make 20x overnight. And it's also really scary because it's a special time. He said it's supposed to be that way. And never share your seed phrase. Like, I don't know. I have to always check myself. Like, am I a fanatic, or am I actually a level-headed person looking at this track record where he's taking care of the community? He's just in the same way. Like, he said he did 150 hours of homework before he shared this Crypto Strikers thing. And yet he said he wants to be very loud about it when he finds a project that he thinks might have legs. you know, he said there were 3 projects that he got real excited about other than just dabbling and minting and playing with money that he was able to lose. And that was, what was it? World of Women, this Tom Sachs Rocket NFT project, and the Crypto Strikers. And to be having a person like GaryVee think about us first, essentially. Maybe you would disagree that he thinks of us first, but in terms of all of the social outlets he has, from his text platform to emails to Twitter to TikTok, Discord, VFriends Discord is number 1. Like, he'll always have family first, and he'll always have to, you know, play that selflessly selfish game that he uses to like give so much. But it's truly VFriends Discord that gets his first attention, his first hints, his first consideration every step of the way. And basically, since the Discord started on whatever, April 28th, he's been consistent with that, like really consistent. The only thing that like really struck fire that he didn't drop in Discord, he wasn't loud about in other places, but was that Ether Rock project, because he called the Ether Rock project amazingly. And I know because I watched it go from 3 ETH to 10 ETH in a few hours. What's up, Corso? I'm super humbled there are 37 people here. There were 45 when Gary finished the thing. I mean, it's probably because I posted it on Twitter. Thank you. The whole replay is on YouTube. So we have Wannabe Creations. So Wannabe a VFriend on Instagram and TikTok, Wannabe a VF on Twitter, and Wannabe Creations on YouTube, because I want to do more like curated content. But the other just really helpful utility of YouTube is I can simulcast with StreamYard there, and the entire raw Twitch stream lives on YouTube. And we actually got our first YouTube comment today from somebody. I have to scroll pretty far up, but to find it, it's Wannabe Creations. You can also find the link in my Yat, which is on my Instagram and other places. I still have to build out the Twitch art and everything. I just want to say thank you to everyone. Right, he made one of the properties on All VFriends, the OG buyer. So I think he's gonna do something fun for that eventually, like in a 20, 30-year window. I guess the other big takeaway was just patience for the space. Like, he also told us, and this is his guess, like, it doesn't necessarily need to be right, but it also feels like the right amount of time to say it will take 2 to 3 years for the adoption that everybody wants to arrive, you know, to sustain NFT value at these prices. I've expressed to you guys multiple times that I'm like concerned. I've thought about selling my hard pick, even though it's like my most prized possession. I say most prized because it was the biggest investment I ever made, but ultimately, like, the Heart Trooper is my forever token. Like, I can't imagine selling my Heart Trooper unless I was getting a spectacular Heart Trooper, you know, which why would anyone ever do that? The only reason anyone would ever do that is if, because of my podcast intro and the potentiality of my actually ascending through this platform as like a VFriends champion of the people, that like Heart Trooper number 7 somehow has extra value. In which case I hesitated there. I was gonna say I totally would trade it for a spec, but I think I would trade it for a spec. It's been so cool to have him grow this Discord. Yeah, and it's just getting started. I mean, he still put it out there that he wanted 300,000 in the next like 60 days or something. So I think I have a better sense of scale. Hold on, I'm gonna turn this light a bit. I think I have a better sense of scale for the timeline of things, because, you know, Gary's always saying we haven't even started. You know, we're 90 days into a 40-year project, and yeah, I just had a really interesting realization today that when he says 40-year project, it might take that long before we feel we've completed chapter 1. Like, the dates that he's given us so far are November 16th. I'm sorry, Labor Day, which is September 6th, November 16th of this year, January 15th of 2022, and May 19th to the 22nd of 2022. I suppose he's also given us Hangout Hawk dates, which all fall between November 10th, just before the book drop, and April 20th, just before what is likely VCon. Gary hasn't said VCon is, but he did say to hold those dates, keep it blocked. And he's never given us a range of dates before, and he's never asked us to keep dates. So I would be shocked if it was a Series 2 VFriends. I don't think they're anywhere near so close. We're not going to get started. This is my realization. I feel that Labor Day will be the announcement for when we get started. Kind of in the same way they gave us the Avastars announcement, and then they didn't tell us when the minting window was, but they would tell us when it would be. I think that's what's going to be Labor Day, where they can make a sort of announcement about VCon and the IP on their own separate tracks, that the VCon and like the short-term economics of VFriends pumps the market, so it brings more attention. You know, you get the press and whatever else is going on, and that they announce what will come in the fall in terms of starting to roll out the IP, and that in the fall, or before Halloween, we'll be able to say we started. Like, you know, it'll be close to 150 days into the project, and we'll have started. But there's going to be another start, another beginning entirely after the third VCon. In 2024, when Gary gives the final keynote at VConference, like he literally could end his keynote by saying, and now we're finally fucking starting. And imagine that's 3 years from now, a little more than 3 years from now, gives that time for the mass adoption that people are acquiring these NFTs. And this cherry on top that is VCon, that will probably be a life-changing experience for almost anybody who attends. Or yeah, I don't know. I guess I stopped myself because it's like, it's sort of up to you. Like, you have the experience you decide to have, but at the same time, Gary will build it so it's conducive for everyone to truly get so much value. Think about the legend and the stories of things that happen at the earliest South by Southwest, and I don't know, Coachella before it's sold out. You know, there's a certain purity that can happen when like a first of a thing happens. And because only token holders have access, the community elements of this are just ridiculous. Like I haven't the faintest idea how this IP is going to be built, but he also gave us the answer. It's developing the characters. It's video games and movies and streetwear and social media and memes and partnerships and cereals and sneakers and like dishware and flashlights. Like, it literally will be, it'll just be so much more far reaching than we think, because Gary has spent the last 10 or 15 years understanding distribution and supply and demand in all sorts of different industries as he's consulting for different brands. Like, he's probably had a conversation because of all the Q&A he's done, like the quadruple D, the digital deep dive thing. Between that and his clients, you kind of have to imagine that he's touched every single industry, like he's considered it, you know, and then it just comes to a matter of time when he actually gets to do his homework and learn a thing the way he did with NFTs and blockchain in the last 6 to 12 months. You know, I think even 6 months, like he said that like he really didn't do his homework on CryptoPunks and NFTs until February. Maybe I think it crossed his path. You know, he certainly did a little bit of education about Ethereum in 2016, 17, or before perhaps. Anyway, all that to say, 40 years from now, like this, like long-term project, 40 plus years, 45 years, the rest of my life, like in Gary's mind, he might see the entire first chapter just until like the day he dies. Like that VFriends doesn't actually begin its chapter 2 until he's done. You know, and hopefully that's 40 years after 40 years. But either way, I'm starting to have a better sense, although I'm not sure I'm getting more patient for it. I'm starting to have a better sense of what a long-term project really means. especially as I'm holding a few different projects and things take time. You know, Gary talked about roadmaps and said, yeah, it's great that you can tell me what your idea is, but can you execute on it? And that's obviously true. You know, like we saw a community in Super Yetis. You know, I'm not sure what the current state of that project is, but early on, the community asked them about their familiarity with different graphics engines for the video game they were saying they were raising money for. And that community trust was lost when they weren't able to speak on those terms. Or I guess speak to specifics about what was going to be done. So like, can you execute? But at the same time, things take time. So as you execute, can you communicate to your community? Can you provide incentives to remain holders? Can you make them excited to bring in new holders? That's a lot of challenges. Has anyone read Ready Player One? I haven't read the book, but I did see the movie. And I'm sure they hardly compare in terms of thematics, but I did see the movie. I'm so glad that Mariji is here and could see the Zoom, even though she wouldn't otherwise. I have to say, like, I had a moment of like, is this okay? You know, because it's a private Zoom in a public server, but it's only limited to 500 people. But I do think that, you know, well, I know for a fact they recorded it, right? So they plan to make content of it, but it's unlikely that they'll just post the raw Zoom. And now it will live on my YouTube. So like for anybody who's here and doesn't know who I am, like I'm not affiliated with VFriends. I'm just a guy who had an idea for the Sorcerer Scholarship. We've started a community. I'm just like trying to provide value to VFriend holders and VFriend community. But now at this point, I am a mod in the Discord. So I have a relatively quick line to be like, hey, is this okay? Like, is this too far? I can just message someone in the mod channel and ask them if they're comfortable with the video living on YouTube. And if not, then it's amazing that like 40 or 50 people got to see it that wouldn't have otherwise here on Twitch while it was live. You like the movie, but books versus movies, yeah, totally. I need to give it a reread with NFTs in mind. I look like I'm thinking about something, but I'm not really. I don't have a frame of reference for what that would mean. But I'd be curious what the second read for NFTs brings up. It's probably a good time to talk about the PLP. Like, I think a lot more people could actually pull off a proposal for the PLP than they might think. If they can find people who have done it before to get on the team, and just get started in the community now. Like, if you're listening to this, would you let me know in the comments if you're curious? Like, would you like to submit something for the PLP and have a collaboration where you create an NFT project and you give 555 to the VFriends community in exchange for Gary's support and a bit of a cosign and but mostly support for your launch? So I can keep talking about it more. I just think that like building the community is more important than building the specifics of your project, because that can change and it will also take a lot of time that you could be using doing both and starting the Twitter and getting into NFT Twitter because it's a whole fucking mood. And, you know, start a TikTok and a LinkedIn and just like document the process of, I want to make a project that benefits wild horses. And the reason I want to do this is X, Y, and Z, because I love them, because I grew up on a farm, because I think they're not being appreciated, whatever. And, you know, document the journey of that changing into whatever the specific things is, like your stables, or, you know, I'm using the horse as a random example that popped to mind, but if there's something that you truly are passionate about, in the same way that Gary said in Crush It, you could talk about Smurfs. Like, you can do whatever. The PLP is a good way to, it's maybe not the best vehicle for just like doing something that you don't care about to try to learn the NFT process, because you can do that on OpenSea. The PLP is going to be more difficult than just minting or any collection on OpenSea. And the reason for that is they're going to be looking at your Twitter, your Discord, and your website for your community, and they want to know your contract address. So they didn't say you can't be using a minting contract on OpenSea or Rarible or, you know, other, I was going to say Foundation, but Foundation, you wouldn't be able to do this anyway. Point being, you have to have a developed project, and you can do like a copy paste simple smart contract. I don't think that it needs to be complicated, but the question is, how does your project provide value to the VFriends community and your token holders, your eventual token holders? That being said, for people who have been like wanting to get involved but haven't yet, this is a really good push because you're meant to be launching in September or October. So it's a relatively small window of time. And I've been saying that if you're launching in November or December, that you can still apply and let them know. Also, if you've already launched and you can add 555 tokens or take them out of the supply and give them to VFriends, you can still apply. But I just think it's a really good push for people to get started, because in order to apply, you have to basically be ready to launch. And whether you win or not, you can still go ahead and launch. In fact, if you wanted to, you could go and grab all of the web addresses, the wallet addresses for all VFriend token holders. All of that is public data. There's multiple resources that will give you exactly all of those wallet addresses, and you can randomize them and send them to 555 of the VFriend holders without Gary's permission. You won't get his support during your launch. But in the same way that Gary was talking about all these 10,000 projects, you know, and why he knows that 99% of them will fail is because they're all playing the intellectual property game. And will they actually build that over the long term? What I want people to understand is that that intellectual property play is in your lap. Like, if you have something to be passionate about or something to build, you can start by creating the art through an NFT and then use that as the story driver, you know, building out, whether it's through comics or podcasts or animations or stick figures. Like, if I'm not mistaken, like the value of intellectual property is derived from how much people are willing to pay for it. And if people are willing to pay for something, then they must either want, need, or care about it, or hopefully all three, right? So building intellectual property is the same, and using it to refer to NFTs is the exact same language of branding and like finding your niche in social media. It's all the same, except for now you can trade it for crypto assets. And there are new rules and avenues in the game. So I really think that a lot more people have an NFT project in them than they think. And a lot of people count themselves out because they see artists like Fuck Render or even just the bit art, you know, and they're like, I don't have the patience, or I don't have the tools, I don't know how to do that. Like, yes, you could learn the art, but you can also find an artist. Like, you don't have to do it alone. And there's no reason, just because you're not a refined artist, that you can't execute an idea. You know, I'm not a digital artist, and I've released 2 NFTs, and I wrote out a very detailed concept to an illustrator, and I sent it to them, and I hired them, and I paid them for the time that it took them to make it. In fact, I put them on retainer for a month just because I knew it would be hard for me to make up my mind. And, you know, I worked with somebody I already knew. I worked with somebody who I'd seen their work before. Like, I did my research to find somebody that I could, how would you say, collaborate with. So if there's something in this world that you're worried you won't be able to figure out, you know, it's worth giving it a try, but also find collaborators. And I think the thing that, there were a couple things from this that really landed on me, but one thing that for my NFT project that landed is I need to find somebody who's done this before, because I'm trying to like make shit up and ask people the right questions. But like, I need somebody on the team who cares about the project, who's done this before, and can help me get it across the finish line. Because it was the first time I've ever done this. It's taken me 4 or 5 times longer than I expected. So how was that for a rant? Thank you for listening. I'm flattered that 70% of the people who were watching at the end of Gary's Zoom stayed for that rant, and I hope you found it valuable. I did take notes with the intention to do a podcast on this, but I need to take a break before I do that. So it's always fun to have 28 people in the room, but I haven't eaten anything for like 5 hours. So I think I have to say farewell. It will also keep the video to a nice hour, and I'll be back. You know, it's Sunday. I'll record a podcast in a couple of hours. I have a lot of offline work to be doing. Maybe I'll do like one of those watch me work streams as I plan out the week. But in the last couple of weeks, I keep finding myself on Wednesday and not knowing what's happening for the Wednesday super stream, and we just go and we stream. And so I'm really wanting to be more thoughtful in the weeks going forward of like having the plan. Cam is back, and for those who don't know, Cam at Beef Friend Family Tree was gone for a couple of weeks for personal reasons, and I don't have the full story. I just think he was ill, and we're glad that he's back and feeling better, and he's wanting to help out with scheduling again. If anybody wants to be on the show, like please message me, because I actually have the dirty task now of going through my messages and making notes in a separate document of the conversations I've been having with everybody, because I'm losing track of them all. I'm losing track of people's handles, and there's just a lot of ongoing conversations. So if anybody wants to be on the show, like it's an open platform. It's for anybody who's a VFriend holder or not, you know, it's VFriend's community. So I try to do one of those hour-long chats once or twice a week, but otherwise, if you have a project or there's another project you want to put on, or there's just something you've learned through this process that you want to share, I'm fully available to provide a platform to you to have the conversation. If you want to think out stuff, if you want to jam on something, this is your platform as much as it is mine, and I'm really doing my best to stay true to that. And with that being said, you know, anything you need to know should be linked in the Yat and soon to come to the website. Like right now, the website is great for the podcast and for the calendar. And soon it's going to have a couple more resources in the form of a Trello board, where it'll just be a public board organized by lists of things that I'm tracking. And, you know, from events to announcements to hints to my stuff. So I'm hoping that will help. Thanks for watching. Gift goats are going to the moon. Damn right. What did he say at the beginning? I didn't write it down. The only bit I wrote down was all-time win, I think. Yeah. And yesterday he jumped into the Gift Goat chat and was like, don't be scared. It's better than you think. And today he opened up that Zoom by saying, it's going to be such an all-time win for everybody. I mean, wow. More on that and other things to come. My thought is, I'm going to write this down while it's in my head. My thought is that I'm going to record a podcast on Hawks, on Crypto Strikers, on the Zoom meeting, and I want to do one on VCon, and I want to do one on a character. I think I'm going to start. You know, it's about time. We don't know anything yet, but like we don't know anything yet. But it's about time I start to like do the character breakdowns. You know, like accountable ants. Like, what do we think? What can we guess? What has Gary said? What hasn't he said? Yeah, the gift goats are in full hodl. I mean, I think gift goats, like you can't get a gift goat for less than $100,000 anymore. Cheapest for sale is $103K. Yep. Look at that. I hope you're having a great Sunday as well, Marcelo. Shout out to Marcelo who made our website. I'm so happy with the website that I'm just going to show you all it really quick. I think I have it up here. Let me share my screen so you can watch it load up. It's all good. Yeah, 5 podcasts I think is enough. There wasn't really anything else to report. So Marcelo made this amazing placeholder website. He's got a lot more that he's wanting to do on his own time, of course, because he is just wanting to give back and help, and I can't thank him enough for that. But you can literally get anywhere you need to go. The only thing, there's a few things that aren't linked here yet, like the Yat, but the Yat is on Instagram, and I think the most important thing is being able to find the podcast, the Twitter, the Twitch, and the Instagram, and I guess the YouTube over time. And then here in the calendar, if you scroll down, there's the community calendar. So these are some upcoming events. And I'm working with Sarah Faye now to keep this updated on Sunday. So she's going to, I don't think she's announced it yet. She got really, it's so exciting. If you folks know Sarah Faye 555, she got really hyped earlier this week and was like, I really want to do this. I'm really good at organization and I want to help you and I'm going to do a thing and this. And I was like, yeah. And she decided that she's going to have a deadline every Sunday at like 3. I'll direct you to it. But she's going to curate all of the VFriends community events into this calendar. And she might host them somewhere else too, but we're definitely going to get them on this calendar as well. And then below is my calendar, which is our streaming calendar. So tonight, actually, people might be really interested in this. If you're on the POAP hustle, Nikki from Let's Be Friends is hosting the final book club for Crush It. They've chatted about chapters at a time for the last 9 or 10 weeks. And there's a POAP that you get if you attend tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time in the Let's Be Friends Clubhouse. And that clubhouse is on the homepage of the website. There will also be a POAP. So here's the clubhouse. There will also be a POAP next week when they start Thank You Economy. So the way they're doing the POAPs for this are bookends. You get the front cover and the back cover. And so, yeah, here it is. This is their schedule. I've noticed that links to Clubhouse aren't always the best. Like, this doesn't take me to the club deck or anyway, regardless. Lots of cool resources on the website. Shout out to Marcelo for helping me with that. Really, I should say shout out for taking it on his shoulders, but allowing me to guide and direct. We're just getting started. Oh, look, no way. Marcelo just said he added the Yat right now. Is that for real? What? No, give it time. Give it time. I can also tell you, while we're talking Let's Be Friends, is that they have a Saturday morning show, which is how their programming started. It's from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern time. So depending on where you are in the world, it might be kind of hard. I personally have a very difficult time waking up to that show. But every Saturday, there's a POAP. And this Saturday, Alex and I will be the guests on that show. And we created a POAP for it. And it's very fucking cool. And also Droshik will be in town. There's going to be like a lot of VFriends activity in New York City this weekend. I'm talking like, in 5 days or whatever. So exciting stuff on the horizon. I'm really grateful for everybody listening in. And break. We'll be back for a podcast in a bit. Hope everybody's having a great day and thanks for watching. See ya.